Hi students, in this lesson we'll cover 5 tips for a better Behance presentation. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of where we're at. We're working on a Behance version 1 presentation. That should include a homepage design, 3 features, a mobile version of your homepage, and also both your homepage integrated into the 2 templates that were provided. So you're probably thinking, how can I take this presentation and design it to the next level like you've been seeing in the student examples? And I'm going to give you 5 quick tips that can help you do that. So let's start with the first tip. And it's pretty simple. It's to design your hero header graphic. So there's nothing wrong with the initial hero that we've designed in the template version 1. It has everything you need with the homepage, the mobile, and the logo, and a little bio about what the project is. But if you want to push it a little bit further, here's 2 things you can kind of think about. One is creating a background, preferably with a color and possibly any type of pattern if your website has pattern involved. If it doesn't have pattern, you may be able to use a photograph. Again, when we look at the overall design that was created for Thrifster, the key is that your laptop and your phone, which has your design, is in the foreground, and this new pattern or photograph and logo sit behind it. The goal is to not overpower the design work you did here with the design of the presentation. And that's pretty tricky. So again, try to not over design that header graphic. The second thing you can do is consider typographic headers. So in this version, just have really basic type, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what the student did in their presentation is took their typographic headers from their design with their line element and integrated that into their overall design for their presentation. So if you look at it, they have a basic header system that integrates with their page design. The third thing the student did is just a little bit of copywriting. Rather than just saying homepage or Thrifster, they asked, let's go thrifting, but where to? And then gave us a description. So trying to determine an overall tone for the website through a little bit of copywriting. And we see that even more evident in my third tip is to actually call out specific functionality that your website has. So for example, on the homepage, and we can kind of see it in comparison between the 2 here, what the student for Thrifster did is they looked at the latest articles, which is here, and did a little bit of copywriting talking about looking for inspiration and why you would use the Thrifster website to find inspiration for your closet. And then they did a second call out, which was again cropping this recent added inventory, and then again writing a little bit to explain how that works and giving again a little personality through the copywriting. And the last function they pointed out was where the thrift stores were, and this is clear at the bottom here. And again, you can see that they cropped a certain section of that and then told us how it works. So when we look at the overall design, it has the entire home page, and to break up the monotony of then just putting our first feature page right behind it, what they did is they did these call outs with patterns that are related to what they've done in the website design, and they crop closely on key features in that design. So again, you really can only do these type of callouts if you have a lot of functionality within the page that you've designed. You can't just crop a bunch of different sections and say that's something special about that feature. So again, you really have to consider why you're calling them out, not just because the Thriftster design did it and you think it's a cool element. It really does have to relate to, again, the functionality of your website, and does it make sense to actually call it out. The fourth tip I can give you is just using color fields to kind of break up the design. I again have no problem with everybody just using white if that's the best option. It presents well, keeps your design clean, and you focus on the design as a whole. But if you wanted to experiment with color or a basic pattern, this is a really good example of how to do it. The other thing is the color that's been chosen in the background here does not overpower the overall design that the student did. So please keep that in mind if you're using color, to not let it be the dominant over your design. And the last thing I want to point out, and you've heard me say this probably 1.5 million times already this semester, is just alignment and spacing. And the spacing is very, very generous in this Behance presentation. We can kind of see how each typographic header for the sections are equal in height, which again gives us a very consistent amount of white space between each page. We don't have like a dedicated height, but honestly, y'all can kind of see how much room the student has given their designs here. I highly recommend that amount of white space, just so when you're scrolling you have some breathing room between each page design. And secondly, there's always a consistent alignment on the left here, which aligns with this box. They've established a right margin here that they consistently use as well. So alignment and spacing are really key in trying to be as consistent as possible with that. And one last little detail that we did not include in our initial design here, but kind of shows you the next level of just care for the work that you're doing, is the student who did Thriftster, if we look really, really closely, made their own little browser graphic, and they included that on everything. So I would highly recommend, it's simple, it's just a rounded corner box with some circles, but again, that really helps sell the overall final presentation design. So that's my 5 quick tips. I know it looks kind of easy, but trust me, try to use all these tips with as much control as you possibly can, and please do not over design your Behance presentation. Thank you.